All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set for a big fight at BKFC KnuckleMania 3, and that goes February 17th, a world flyweight title defense. We have Usanakorn Thawilsuhannawang taking on Christine Ferea, and great having Christine on the show. How's your day going so far, Christine? Seems like a busy one.
Yeah, it's busy. It's get started early. You just got out of training, got some mitt work in, and a little bit of conditioning with the Sanchez brothers over here in New Mexico.
Yeah, for sure, and a lot of great stuff to talk about for sure. But I'd feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't, congratulate you on winning the 2022 BKFC, Fighter of the Year distinction. There, that seems like a big one.
Yes, thank you. I worked really hard. I didn't expect it when they called me. They're like, "Yeah, you have an interview tomorrow," and then he's like, "Yeah, I want to let you know you're the Fighter of the Year." I was like, "Whoa, I did not expect that." But I am super grateful, and it was a great year last year. A lot of success, a lot of big things happened, and a lot of opportunities, a lot of doors open for me becoming the world champion.
Yeah, it seemed like a really big year for you. Like, how do you, I guess, assess 2022 overall? Because, in the last fight, obviously, a very emphatic performance. Finishing Taylor Starling in less than a minute and just really, solidifying yourself as champion and everything like that. Like, what are, I guess, the big evaluations, main takeaways from 2022?
I just feel like overcoming everything that got thrown in my way and just stay loyal to the plan and the company and trusting in the decisions of my team, myself, and the hard work, BKFC is doing, and just trusting that everything's going to, grow and, just going through that and then seeing the success behind it and the opportunities that I am getting from BKFC. It just feels worth it. All the early mornings and tough sparring and sacrifice and discipline. It motivates me to keep doing it more and more and more, and know that hard work pays off no matter what. Maybe not in the timely fashion that you want it, but eventually it does. It just shows me that what I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must be especially satisfying too, because you talk about the tremendous individual effort that leads to things like this, but you were talking about Sanchez boxing earlier. Like, I was seeing a lot of that across your Instagram. Like, that seems like a team that you've really been like a big part of for a good while now. So if that is the case, I would think that would be especially satisfying, seeing all of the recent successes paying off.
Absolutely. Yeah, they work me super hard over there, and it feels like I'm not like getting, when you're in practice, you just feel like heavy and slow, and you feel weak because they're pushing you to your brink, and it just feels like it's a never ending goal that you just can't get good enough at. So it's just like when I get in there and I run through my opponent, or I'm stopping opponents, it's like, oh, all that hard work paying off, and sometimes you don't realize how hard you're working or how much you're sacrificing until you just blow through the competition, And those guys, they work so hard over there. The ethic and the commitment and loyalty over in Sanchez brothers it's amazing, and it's like a little family, and the support it's detrimental to my success and any athlete's success.
Yeah, it just seems like a very kind of common thread throughout just really a lot of aspects of the journey. Like, even with Knockout Canada being such a tenured kind of sponsor for you, and they hooked you up with that gold fit and all.
No, I love Knockout Canada. Knockout Canada's been with me since my amateur, and when I was a Muay Thai fighter, and they stuck by me no matter what, through the ups and downs, through the inactivity, no matter what. Whenever I had a fight, they supported. No bullshit, no games, no. It's just straight support. So that's why I like to represent their brand and stay loyal to them as well. It's been a long time teamwork with both of us, growth and their growth as well. Dean Anderson is amazing.
Yeah, for sure, and definitely been able to represent it on some big platforms so far, especially with this being like the second KnuckleMania experience and everything. And like we were kind of touching on before, like the first KnuckleMania foray was when you had cemented yourself as champion, beating Britain Hart. How does this KnuckleMania experience feel, maybe as compared to the initial go around with it?
So for me, every fight is the biggest fight of my life. That's how I treat every single fight. So, this fight is every fight is my legacy. So every fight is extremely important to me. I want to be the best in the world for all time. I want to be always remembered. I want to have a record, and I want to make a statement that when I leave, that it's going to be really tough for these girls to catch up to. I want to leave that, when I retire. So every fight, I'm giving it my all. I don't take anyone lightly, no matter what experience or inexperience they have, or how the strengths or weaknesses they have. I'm preparing like they are the best in the world.
Yeah, and I thought it was curious too, with this one being that it's like back-to-back New Mexico performances here, and I mean the last fight didn't get to really go all that long, as we had previously kind of alluded to, but I mean I would feel like the altitude dynamics here are something you're maybe more familiarized with it being high altitude and everything like that. Like, how much of a variable in this fight do you think that will be?
Well, my opponent's coming from Thailand, so she has a 20-hour flight, cutting weight, coming into elevation, so, I mean, it's going to suck for her, because this elevation does get your ass, and you need to acclimate. And people could say, you could come here for a day or two and it's not going to hit you, but elevation doesn't hit you for like 3 days. So you can be cool, and then, but like third, fourth day, then that's when it really takes a tax and a toll on your body. So by the time she gets here and she's getting ready for the fight, that's when the elevation is really going to affect her body. I come here, I prepare, I sacrifice. I gave up my place in Las Vegas just to come here to acclimate. I do everything and anything to make sure that I have the edge and make sure that I'm going to win. And I'll sacrifice anything and give anything to be the best that night.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a very intriguing fight. Like, this seems like an opponent that you have, a fair bit of respect for, just her being like a world champion and, things of that nature. And it seems like you're really bringing your A game to this one. Like, what was the initial series of thoughts when this bout offer came your way? Was this someone you already kind of had on your radar to a certain degree, or like what was the, I guess, initial temperament when it kind of came your way?
I mean, I like to fight. I want to fight. She's a former world champion, so of course it's going to be a great victory for me. I really want Bec Rawlings, but this girl stepped up. She's coming in. She's an amazing athlete. It has a lot of interesting characteristics that I'm going to have to overcome, and I want to test myself. I mean, there's a lot of people that test themselves against me, opponents that have no chance against me. I like to test myself against people that, there's a lot of chances that I'm going to be taking. So this is a fight I feel like it's a little dangerous for me, and let's see if I can, let's see if I am who I think I am and who I say I am. That's how I feel about it. I have to test myself. I expect other people to test themselves and be a champion and be a true fighter. It's my turn to test myself.
And I'm sort of curious how you kind of break up this dynamic here, because obviously your opponent, a former WBC bantamweight champion, like a very high knockout rate, 16 in 17 victories, and also 2 knockouts in their pair of BKFC fights. Like, are you individually doing the tape study on your opponents, or is it more you're focusing on your individual refinement and like the coaches are kind of giving you the intel sort of thing?
Nah, I do my own kind of. I've always been kind of a person that takes my career into my own hands, even though my coaches they overlook tape and they give their suggestions. But yeah, I know my opponent inside and out by the time I get into that ring. I know everything about that person that I can find. I dig everything. I dig personally. I dig professionally. I dig athletically. Weaknesses, strengths, down to their birthday. I'm crazy like that. I'm very methodical. I'm very into the mental side of the game, and I think that's why I'm extremely dominant, because I dig deep, and I get fully wrapped up in the whole fight. By the time I get there, I've been there a million times with her. You know, I've been in every situation, visualization. I've been knocked down by her. I've gotten up. I've knocked her out a million times in my head. You know, I've gotten hurt in a million times in my head by her. But then I teach myself to overcome it in visualization. So when it happens, it's not like, oh my God, you know, before back up. You know, so a lot of studying, a lot. And I do a lot of studying on, she's a southpaw, so I watch a lot of southpaw versus orthodox fighters, you know, the counters, attacks, tall, short, you know, all kinds of different variables that could happen and scenarios that I could be in. And I try to get myself ready for every single thing that could happen.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the bigger like parts of your game too. Is I feel like you have one of the higher like fight IQs in, you know, the sport of bare knuckle, and you're talking about her being like a powerful southpaw and stuff like that. Like, what are some of the, I guess, attributes she has that you think really stand out? Like, what are her big, like, I guess, stylistic proclivities? Like, what's she really bringing to the table from what you've seen?
She's extremely patient. She's a patient fighter, so she'll take her time and pick shots. She's very confident. You know, she's confident in her power. She's confident in her domination. So I think that's extremely important for a fighter, and that shows a lot of strength. And it's going to be hard to break that in somebody, because that's who she's been. And with all those knockouts, I just feel like her mental game is extremely fucking strong. And I feel like she can overcome a lot. And I feel like she can take a lot of damage. You know, she's from Thailand. I respect them highly, and I've studied the Thai culture and Muay Thai for a long time, so I know what she's bringing to the table. I know what kind of energy. I know it's a war. I just, you know, she's a southpaw. She's unorthodox. She's not like a regular boxer. She's kind of like a Thai boxing. She's weird. It's a weird. She's not anything that it's in the norm. So it's going to be an adjustment for me. And I'm in boxing gyms. There's not anybody that's going to mimic her. She keeps her hands down, you know, and then she strikes from the bottom. She comes from the bottom, you know, and comes with a jab or comes over with her left hand, and she just does weird things. You know what I mean? So I'm prepared for it. And she has a lot of strength, and she has a lot of weaknesses that I've been, you know, watching.
Yeah, I mean, a tremendously intriguing fight. When I heard it announced at the press conference, I definitely, you know, got quite excited, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't pull back to another name you mentioned a bit ago. You were saying you wanted that Bec Rawlings fight, and I feel like this is a fight that's been, you know, in the making for many years at this point. Like, do you see this, you know, happening? And yeah, right? It's been kind of wild, just like how high level both of you are and everything. Like, do you foresee this happening in 2023? Like, how, I guess, high are your hopes that this bout gets signed?
It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. That fight is happening. Previously, over the years, because the first time I spoke to David, he's like, okay, who do you want to fight? I said, I want to fight Bec Rawlings. He's like, all right. Hangs up the phone, and she won't fight me. So she's been ducking me for years. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I want to fight UFC talent, period. I want the UFC girls. I didn't get an opportunity to go to the UFC and beat them down. I'm going to beat them down here in Brno, period. You know, Bec Rawlings, she's tough, she's gritty, you know, she's stubborn, she's mean. I like it. You know, I want to dominate that, and I want to put it down, and I want to show the world, like, you know, I am number one, no matter who they put in front of me. and it's with a big name. She's really made herself, and grew her business and, as a fighter and her brand. And I appreciate that. So I want to, expose her and show her that I'm not just a bully. I have a lot of skills. I can take them. I can give them. I can fight moving forward, backwards, in the pocket. I could bang. I just feel like there's a lot more eyes on that, and I get to show a lot more of my skill with her. I think it'll be an extremely it's going to be a dog fight. I think it's going to be super bloody. We both want it, and I'm willing to put even though she didn't give me opportunity when I wanted it to fight her, I'm going to give her an opportunity to get the world title. She was the first world title champion as a female. I'm the first world champion BKFC champion. She says she's the queen. Nah, I'm the queen, and I'm gonna retire that way.
It's just so interesting. Yeah, I never even, I guess, saw it from that particular perspective. Like her, I mean, obviously I knew she was like a former UFC veteran, but just kind of seeing it through that lens. And you have had an interesting career journey, having fought, 3 times for Invicta previously, and I feel like you really established yourself as one of like the real early kind of bare knuckle fighters. Like I was seeing you were offered a spot on the first card, but it didn't, pan out for whatever reason, and then debuted at the 3rd event and among the first handful of like officially regulated fights. And I feel like you've really like found yourself within this space. So as much as it seems like you would have wanted to have gone to the UFC, it feels like you really carved out like a huge niche kind of within this space. Can you kind of speak to that?
Oh yeah, I'm super. When you're going through life and things don't happen, you're super sad. And I was just talking to a few people about this. You're like, damn, like I wanted to go to the UFC, or I wanted to be a professional football player, whatever. It didn't happen, but you don't know what the plans are in the future. I am extremely grateful that they didn't take me in the UFC because, first of all, I really don't like MMA. I love boxing. I was doing it. I was a Muay Thai fighter, and then I went into MMA because they didn't have any more Muay Thai fights for me. I was 14-0 as a Muay Thai fighter, and I just couldn't find fights anymore. And it's really hard to find those here. So, and Lion Fight wasn't finding me anything. So, and then I went and tried out for the UFC, and I didn't make it. It was heartbreaking. I just knocked out Rachel Ostovich. I had a super close fight with Tiffany Van Soest. She's like 8-time world champion, kickboxer in glory. I'm fighting good people, and then I fought Karina Rodriguez. She's the current 125-pound Invicta champion. All my opponents have been legit. So when bare knuckle, this is where I come from and how I grew up. It's just a perfect match. And then my Muay Thai background with the clinch and what they taught me in Muay Thai, Renzo Asparia, Hard Knocks Muay Thai, what his style was really great for like hand-to-hand combat. And Muay Thai is hand-to-hand combat for Thailand. So bringing it over into my boxing and then learning boxing and the speed and the agility and the head movement and the IQ, brought my IQ to a trillion. I got the power and the street hand-to-hand combat through Muay Thai, and then refined it with boxing. It's killer. It's dominating. It's dominating combination. So all those things that didn't happen, people say trust the process, and when you're in the shit, you don't understand. You're like, dude, this is not working out. I'm not doing something right. But you have to trust the process. As long as you're making right decisions, you're working hard, just trust the process and relax and just go with the flow, because the universe gives you what you earn and what you deserve. And that's what I feel like I got here in bare knuckle. We had a little rocky start. I wasn't understanding the business side of things. This was startup company. So I've learned a lot in this process, growing with bare knuckle and understanding the decisions they're making for the company, and the numbers that us fighters need to have in order to be able to make more money and to be able to be put on the card more. An entertaining fighter. You're not just going to get a bunch of fights because you're you. You have to put asses in a seat. You know, and these are things that I didn't understand before, and I was having a hard time and really pissed off. So I'm just extremely grateful for not getting into the UFC, because I do think I did learn more through BKFC and growing with them as a fighter and with their company, and helping them grow and them helping me grow. You know, and the better they do, the better I do. So I'm 100% with the company. I'm 100% trying to understand the business side and still respect my side as a fighter.
Yeah, it's just like incredible how like multifaceted it is as well, though. Like I spoke to Diego Sanchez recently, and he was talking very highly about the great insights you were offering him ahead of his BKFC debut, and you were talking about like, you know, a competitive career in bare knuckle, or rather like a career in bare knuckle as a coach, like when the competitive days have kind of wrapped up and stuff like that. So yeah, just a lot of like awesome kind of multifaceted stuff with the sport, it seems.
Oh yeah. There's so many things, and I didn't realize that. You know, I was just such a fighter in the gym, and kill, you know, grind. You know, I wasn't thinking about the business side so much, like the way I should have, and that's what I'm going to be as a coach too. I'm going to teach my students the business side as well as the business side as well as the warrior side of it. You got to have both if you want to, you know, grow quickly in the sport. You know, it took me a long time because I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't, you know, my coaches were kind of old school. So, you know, the old school didn't have the social media and all the entertainment factors of the business wasn't the number one focus and concern. It was grind, be a savage, you know. So there's just so much, you know, to be successful at in the entertainment side of the business, because it's an entertainment, not just a fight.
Yeah, for sure, like multiple facets to the whole thing. And I guess since we're kind of, you know, on the topic a little bit, like just talking about like certain fight IQ minded things and, you know, growing in what you've been able to do, like it does seem like fight to fight, there's that defined like incremental growth in what you're able to do from my like outsider kind of layman sort of perspective. But I'm kind of curious, like relative to like your first BKFC fight at the third event, like how does that camp differ from where you're at now? Like I would think it would almost be a night and day difference, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. I had no idea what I was doing. So I prepared and I had no clue. It is just such a different preparation. You know, my coach didn't know either at the time. I mean, I had an extremely experienced coach, Dewey Cooper, but I mean, I think I was his first bare knuckle student. So he was training me boxing. You know, that's pretty much how we did it. The conditioning, I was conditioning on my own. So one of my Hard Knocks Muay Thai coach, he told me to get the Makiwara board and start hitting it. So I was doing that a little bit, not even enough, you know, and then the defense is way different. Like, you know, when I got hit with a right hook from her, she took my vision. So I wasn't used to that either. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the first time I'm getting knocked out. And she took my vision and in one eye, and then the other eye was kind of blurry, so I couldn't really see her. And that never happened to me in a fight. So just a lot of rude awakenings the first fight. And that's, you know, right after I got my vision back is when I knocked her out. I was like, oh my God, I need to get out of here now. You know, like, wow, like these punches are way different. The defense is way different, you know. There's a lot of tricks I won't reveal because these are things that are, you know, it's my edge. But, you know, when I'm coaching, I'm going to give them to my students and stuff. And I think I'm going to be a great coach, and just the experience, I'll have a lot of experience, and I'll help build bare knuckle even more through my coaching. But it is a huge, I had no idea when I was on deck. So I wasn't even thinking about the bare knuckle thing. So, because I'm just getting ready for a fight. It really hit me that I was bare knuckle when they're like, okay, you're on deck. So I'm going out there like, okay, you're about to go out. And Nate Shook was like, oh, you ready? He's like, ready to be a superstar? And And he's like, do something, that's going to be exciting. So that's where I came up with my neck slash thing. So I was like, okay. He's like, okay. I had to come up off the top of my head. I was just like, slash my throat. And so, like, from that point on, that's what I stuck with, because that's what naturally came to me. But when I was on deck and I was like, holy shit, I have no gloves on right now. So that's where it really kind of set in when I was walking out. Like, I didn't really give it, like, deep thought, like I'm fighting without gloves. And I still don't. You know what I mean? But it really sank in when I was walking out. It is a weird thing when you've been fighting with gloves for like 8, 9, 10 years, whatever, prior to.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate those insights, because it's been such a great journey, and it still seems many more chapters to come. Like, I thought it was interesting that you were talking about potentially going to 115 pounds as well. So that could be interesting, a little champ action.
Yeah, I would love to go down to 115. I could get there. I mean, it would be extreme discipline, but I could get there safely. I talked to my nutritionist and stuff like that. If I really wanted to get down, I could. I wouldn't mind going down and taking that. I wouldn't mind. I even would move up. I'm running out of, people here, so I'm willing to test myself, test my mind, go down to 115 or move up. I'm willing to do anything to be the best and test myself. That's what I'm here to do. I love this. I love what I do, and I love pushing myself to the limit. I live one time. So when I'm sitting there 55, 60, 70 years old, I'm going to be satisfied and know that I didn't hold back anything, and that I could have, should have, would have did. I'm doing it no matter what. I'm putting it all out there. I'm sacrificing what I need to. I'm not going to regret it. And I'm willing to go up, down, face whoever I need to face and be ready for it. It shouldn't be like picking opponents, We need to be ready at any time for whoever they put in front of us. That's the kind of it should be, I feel.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree as well, and I'm sure I could ask you 100 more questions, Christine. I feel like you have a great mind for the game, and you're doing some great things, but I want to be mindful of your schedule too, so is there anything you want to put out there maybe as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up here?
Are we giving like sponsor shout out, or are we just saying...
Yeah, for sure, that's cool.
Just anything I want to say. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Kendra Lust for sponsoring me for this camp. KP Painting, Jason Ferguson, Dem Labs. There's a lot of people that have been supporting me, help me get through these camps. Thank you to my team, Sanchez Brothers, New Mexico, my management, my just all my friends and family, BKFC for giving me opportunities to showcase my skills. I just want to thank everybody for everything, and I'm going to go out and show out and get everything I got.
Yeah, it's going to be an incredible fight at KnuckleMania 3, and people can check that out February 17th. And to reiterate, thanks for coming on and giving great insights, Christine. Looking forward to checking out the fight, and you have a good rest of your day, too.
All right, thank you.